Hello, everyone, and welcome to Intuitive Insights, where I share intuitive universal messages that come through my intuitive soul sessions, is what I call them, or soul talk. And everyone has a specific message, but everyone also has a universal message that comes through in the readings that not only are helpful for myself, but also hopefully for you. And that's why I share them here. My name is Megan McDonough. I am your host, and here is this week's message. Holy tamale, Batman. I took the summer off this summer, obviously. And I don't know about you, but man, oh man, is there some universal energy just whipping me around these last few months. Specifically, I would say July, August. How are you feeling out there? Are you noticing any of this? What I can say is what I've noticed is how the best way to describe it is like I feel like I'm being pulled in every single direction, like peeled away from my skin. And it's like the universe is asking me, forcing me to level up. It's that horrible, transformative feeling of growth, where you're stuck between, I want that over there, but in order to get there, I have to change where I'm at now and who I am now and what I do now in order to get there. And I don't wanna. And I'm feeling this with not just myself, I'm seeing it with others as well. And it made me reflect just recently that when we're faced with this feeling of transformation, or when we are called upon by the universal energies to level up, to grow up, and to elevate, it's scary. It's hard. It's unfamiliar. It's change. But change is the constant in life, right? Change is the only constant we can count on. The only thing we can count on is that nothing is ever going to be the same. And if we know that, then why is it so painful? Why does it hurt so much? Why is it so hard? So the visual that I got today, or for this week's podcast, there's a few of them. There's a lot coming through, so I got a lot to say, so buckle up, Buttercup. I always say, and firmly believe, that there is truly one energy, and that's love. And when in this 3D world, in this 3D frequency of Earth, in order to see that, we have a dualistic world, a dualistic nature. So that one frequency is broken down into two frequencies, two major frequencies of love and fear. The frequency of love has all of its sub-frequencies. The frequency of fear has all of its sub-frequencies. And they're never the same. Meaning, if you're in faith, you are not in fear. If you are truly in love, you are not in fear. If you are truly attached and in tune with and in flow with and connected to your spirit self via your intuition, fear does not have a home there. Because in my mind and in my experience, Spirit is love. That main frequency that we all tap into to see, I'm getting deep here, kids, so buckle up. To see with what I call the real senses, the true senses. So we have our physical senses: see, feel, taste, touch, hear. Am I missing one? I think that's it. And then the sixth sense, right? But I think it's the opposite. I think that our true senses are our sixth senses and its variations. And so I look at it like see, feel, see, hear. I'm sorry, feel, see, feel, hear, feel, know. Feel, right? Like the energy around you. And when we can communicate from those senses, like in the intuitive readings that I do, it's so subtle, transformational, and it doesn't have any doubt. It doesn't have any fear. It's grounded, it's open, it's free, it's love. So having said that about fear and faith, when we go through these transformative changes, and this feels like a big one. I'm not an astrologer. I do follow a lot of astrologers. I like to know what's going on spatially in time. Time and space is how I feel like astrology guides us. But this big lesson that is kind of asking everyone to stretch to the next level, to learn and grow more, if you're open, if you're awake to it. When we get to this place, I feel like, and maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like, and maybe you're different, and God bless it if you are, let's talk. But I feel like that's when we fall back into fear. We start carving lines out around us and saying like, nope, and we retreat back in. Instead of having faith, and I'm speaking about myself here right now too, but having faith that this is all for us and not happening to us. So instead of dividing and segregating, which are vibrations under the fear frequency, we soften those lines of separation. We look forward and ask, how can we open up bigger? How can we open up more? How can we have more faith, more trust, more love? How can we lean into the process deeper of feeling ripped apart to level up and trust that it's leveling up? How can we connect more? So when I go into the spirit world, my friends who do Akashic record readings talk about the similar thing, that when you start to, what's so beautiful is when you see someone at a soul level without personality or stories or life's little intricacies getting in the way. Everyone is just so beautiful. And there's so much just light there. There are things that come to serve for a certain point in time, for a certain reason. And we hold on to them because we're scared, or we forget, or we get lazy, or whatever it is. But if we don't continually clear them so that we can keep a clear vessel to continue to level up, to continue to grow, to continue to hear, and be free from any stickiness, let's say, those, again, what I call first senses, true senses of feel, see, feel, hear, feel, know, feel. It's fun to say. They become more clear. And everything becomes more clear. There's no anxiety. There's no fear. I've had people ask me lately, like, I do feel like maybe it's something resonating in me and vibrating out, and then so therefore attracting it, magnetizing it back. But I do feel like I am talking to more people, and I feel like the universe itself is opening up and leveling up to the idea of we all own intuition. I look at it just like, we can all play kickball, right? Some people are really good at kickball. Some people aren't as good, naturally. But we can all play the game kickball. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Google it. Because, I don't know, people still play kickball? I think I said that to my kids the other day and they didn't know what I was talking about. So maybe not. But foursquare, kickball, you name it, a simple game. Baseball, let's say baseball. So we all have intuition. And there are levels of intuition and types of intuition. We all own it. But we don't use it as a society freely. It's like a second thought or an extra thing that puts you in a different category of person. You're automatically in the woo-woo category. But I do feel like the universe and this is asking us, and people are opening up and listening and open to turning it around and noticing that it starts within. The vibration starts within, the intuition starts within, and that is the origin before all of the external senses can take hold. Or at least that's the ideal and that's the goal, right? Can be. The goal to be in flow with the universe. But what I've been noticing is that people are coming forward, friends, people that are intuitive. And there's a lot of fear around their intuition, whether they are fearful of their intuition, which is a big one, or fearful in their intuition, which is a secondary one, meaning that their intuition is telling something that's making them afraid or scared or warning or frightening or evil. And this takes me back to the yoga philosophy. And I'm experiencing it again in this intuitive space differently, but the same. Which is, there is no good. There is no bad. There just is. And that takes me back to the fear and the faith frequency. The love and the fear frequency. Because I truly believe that anything in the true intuitive space, the soul-based space, the spirit-based space, is love, not fear. I feel that the ego is the conductor for fear. And some of that fear that the ego conducts is beneficial. You don't want to burn your hand on the fire, right? You burn yourself once, never do it again. You want to get dressed for the day. appropriate for the society around you. You want to stay clean for the day, appropriate for yourself and society around you. All ego-based things with fear within them. Fear of people thinking that you are not healthy or thinking something of you that you don't want them to think. Those are all healthy. And fear does have a place. It's more about who's guiding the ship and who are you giving the power to. So here are the few things that have been coming forward. The first one, fear is greater than faith. Nope, that's not it. Faith is greater than fear. Faith is greater than fear. Faith is not fear, and faith is greater than fear. Faith will never leave you anxious. Intuition will never leave you anxious if it's a true intuitive spirit-guided message. Intuition can warn you, and you'll take the note, but it won't ricochet your anxiety or nervous system. Does that make sense? Do you agree? In my experience, everything that comes through spirit, that comes through the soul level, that comes through that intuitive connection to those two things, to spirit and soul, do not have anxiety. Faith is greater than fear. Faith doesn't leave you scared. I mean, just think about that. Like in life, when you have faith in something, you're lit up. I feel like faith, when you light up, it lights up in your heart. Like it puffs up your heart. There's a proudness, a confidence that goes along with faith that doesn't have space for anxiety, doesn't have space for fear. Fear is less than faith. Faith is greater than fear. Faith is powerful fuel. And so is fear. So how do you choose to fill your tank? The next thing that came to me recently was this idea of fear is just faith turned upside down. Like they're both these massive energies, but fear is just that massive energy of faith, of lifting up the chest, of confidence, of love, moving forward, positivity, twisted up, turned upside down, and just all gnarly, but just as powerful. So flip a bitch. Unwrangle that fear and turn it into faith. Quantum physics, one of the sayings or statements, or I don't even know how to say this, but one of the facts that they have found, I guess is the best way to say it, but is that energy cannot be created or destroyed. It just transforms. So fear is the faith energy transformed. All I have to do is transform it back to fear or back to faith. Transform your fear to faith. Whole self-love. Whole self-love. Whole self-love. I have no idea why, but this really hits home with me. It came through in a reading recently, and I felt it from my head to my toes. Just adding the word whole, W-H-O-L-E, made the self-love feel more complete, more whole. Pun intended. Light on or light off. In every moment, you have the choice, you have the power to choose the light on, to choose faith, clarity, trust, and love. You have the choice to turn off the light or keep the light off and choose fear, separation, segregation, shut down, hide, anger. You always have the power to choose. Now, ruminating on all these fear and faith quotes that kind of came through, I landed on this last one that came through in a vision, in a reading. You create the boundary of your worthiness. So fear is boundaries. If I take it to the yogic philosophy, everyone is one. Yoga is one. Yoga is union, right? Union back to the one, to that one energy, that one source, love. And the illusion, the Maya of this world is that we are separate. Because things appear separate, they have separate vibrations, different vibrations, but they are all part of one whole vibration, one whole thing. So when fear separates, because that's part of fear's job, it confines, obviously. So as I was seeing this vision, and the question I asked myself was, in this particular meditation, was where do I draw the lines of separation in my life that I could dissolve? And this is very personal, and I'm sharing it with you, and maybe on paper, or it would have been obvious to somebody else or to myself, or just said in passing. But when things come through this spirit space, they come through visuals. For me, sometimes I hear, people hear or see often, or just feel things. The shift somehow is deeper. It's more transformative. It resonates more. And I saw myself lassoing a tiny little circle around myself, my worthiness. It's not something I would have thought of with my brain, And it appeared to me, and even now it kind of makes me want to cry thinking of it, because that line I've drawn, that segregation fear, has allowed me to create for myself. It influences and allows certain people, places, and things, myself included, to treat me and be a certain way with and around me. And when I subtly dissolved that line in my mind's eye, it's like I could breathe. And there was so much strength in the faith that I had with my boundless abundance of worthiness. When you erase the line and the lines that you draw for yourself, around yourself, and compartmentalize yourself because of fear, what's possible? What's next? So today, I would love to introduce you to the opalescent white light. This opalescent white light softens the lines of separation and fills you with love and connection. So when you're ready, if you're able to, close your eyes, sink into your breath, sink into your body, and allow this white opalescent light, that beautiful sheen of an opal with so many colors but softened by the white light, let it start in your chest. And let it swirl around. As you inhale, let it grow bigger. As you exhale, let it grow brighter. And continue that practice, inhaling bigger, exhaling brighter, inhaling bigger, exhaling brighter, inhaling bigger, exhaling brighter, until your entire body is filled with this opalescent white light. Notice how it makes you feel, how you breathe in the texture of this light. And ask yourself, where can I use this light to dissolve the lines of separation or segregation in my life? Where can I use this light to bring forth more connection? And whatever comes forward for you, trust it. Just say yes and thank you. Trust and have faith in what you see, feel, hear, feel, know, feel. Stay here as long as you like. And when you're ready, slowly come out. Open your eyes. And that is this week's message. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate all of you who are here, and I would love to hear what you think. I would love to hear what you feel. I have a mission, and this mission is to ignite 1,000,000 lights. What does that mean? If this turned you on to some insight for yourself in any way, shape, or form that was inspiring, insightful, motivating, made you think in a different way, please let me know in the comments. You can find me on Instagram at Magnetize Your Light and on Facebook. I believe Spotify and iTunes also has an option to leave a comment. If you're looking for an intuitive reading, an intuitive soul session for yourself, looking for specific messages for you, you can find me at Magnetize Your Light underneath the Intuition tab. All of my intuitive offerings are there. If you're looking for a more collaborative, creative experience, I have a new session of C3, which stands for Create, Connect, Consciousness. And that is a once a month quarterly meeting. So we meet 3 times per session. And we do a little mini breathing, a little visualization meditation, much like the opalescent white light one we just did today, into creation and sharing with the hopes to inspire and empower each other. If you have any questions about that, you can email me at info@Magnetize Your Light, or you can also find that underneath the empowerment tab in magnetizeyourlight.com. All right, I hope you have a beautiful week. Faith is greater than fear. Morph that fear into faith. Hope you're doing well. See you soon.